Most men think your testosterone level is low because of the plastics or the chemicals or something completely out of their control. But what if I told you the real reason your testosterone is at an all-time low is sitting in your kitchen, your daily habits, and your lifestyle? And until you fix these things, nothing else will matter. Now, I've helped hundreds of busy, career-driven men, parents with wife, kids, drop 30 to 50 pounds, all without sacrificing their favorite foods or spending hours inside of the gym, and naturally increase their testosterone levels as a result of that. And in today's video, I'm going to break down exactly why testosterone levels are declining in modern society, and more importantly, how to actually fix it. So here's what we'll do. We'll cover the real reason, or the real root cause nobody wants to admit. Secondly, the lifestyle habits destroying your hormones. And then thirdly, when things like plastics and endocrine disruptors actually matter. Because a lot of people watching this right now have it completely backwards. You're majoring in the minors. You're neglecting the big rocks. You're stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. So let me just talk about what actually matters first, and then we'll touch on the small, minute, eeny, meeny, tiny things. Starting with point number one, the real problem, and that is the obesity epidemic. Let's just start with the harsh truth. 70% of Americans, unfortunately, are either overweight or obese. And that alone, that right there, is one of the biggest testosterone killers. And here's why. The fat tissue that you have converts testosterone into estrogen through aromatase. And now the more body fat you have, the lower your free testosterone will be. And then also the more insulin resistant you will be. And insulin resistance equals hormonal dysfunction. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found this. They found that obese men can have up to 50% lower testosterone than lean men. So that alone shows you why we live in this low testosterone epidemic. It's not because of the plastics. It's not because of whatever else you see on social media. It is part of it, 100%. But you drinking out of plastic water bottles is not why you're 50 pounds overweight. The reason why you're 50 pounds overweight is because you can't stop stuffing yourself with food. That is why. And until we fix this for you, the plastics, the whatever is not going to do anything for you. The food dyes, the red 140, like once again, the seed oils, all these things. Now, personally, when I first got into fitness, I thought testosterone was all about supplements. I had to take this testosterone booster. I had to take all these pills, these powders, and just essentially all these shortcuts, right? But for myself, the leaner that I got, the stronger that I got, the more consistent I became with just the fundamentals, the basics. Everything changed. My energy increased, my confidence improved, my drive increased, not because of some pill that I was taking. I wasn't taking anything, but because I fixed the basics. Proper sleep, proper nutrition, proper lifestyle, proper training, proper cardio, proper basics. I also had a client come to me, 35 years old, busy career. He was a dad, and he came to me with low energy, low drive, and low confidence. Now, when he came to us, we did not put him on a bunch of supplements and a bunch of pills. What we did instead was just getting him to go on daily walks because he wasn't even walking daily. Get some sunlight, get some vitamin D, eat more high-fat foods, healthy fats, of course, fatty fish, avocados, nuts, seeds, lifting a couple times a week, 2 to 3 times a week, not overdoing it with the workouts, but just enough to stimulate muscle growth. And then essentially just overall cleaning up his diet. And as a result of that, he dropped 30 pounds. And guess what happened because he dropped that 30 pounds? His testosterone naturally increased because of that. No hacks, no shortcuts. And this literally goes to show you that if you just fix your weight loss problem, you will fix your testosterone problem and not the other way around. Point number 2, your lifestyle right now is killing your testosterone. This is where most men are completely out of alignment. Here's what a typical day of you potentially looks like. You sit all day, right? You have a sedentary desk job. You scroll for hours on your phone. You avoid natural sunlight. You don't train hard at all, if anything at all. and you eat ultra processed junk food, not just daily, but on a weekly, monthly, and yearly basis. And doing this over time will add up to you stacking on the pounds, becoming unhealthier, and as a result, lowering your testosterone. And then you wonder, after years of doing this, decades of doing this, why you feel like garbage and why you feel like crap. Now, here's the science breakdown. Resistance training, so lifting weights, increases testosterone acutely and also long-term. Sleep deprivation lowers testosterone by up to 10 to 15% in just 1 week. And vitamin D, aka getting natural sunlight exposure to your body, is directly linked to testosterone production. Now, a study in JAMA showed that sleeping 5 hours per night dropped testosterone levels significantly in healthy men. Right? So if you're watching this, you probably want more energy, better sex drive, more confidence, but you're still doing the basics wrong. The things that I just listed out. You're living a sedentary lifestyle. You're not moving your body. You're addicted to dopamine hits. You're constantly scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, doing nothing. And you're very undisciplined with your food. You're grazing, you're snacking, you're ordering Uber Eats, you're ordering junk food, you're not cooking home cooked meals. And here's the thing, like, you don't need me to remind you of this. You know this deep down. You know that what you're currently doing right now is not aligned with where you actually want to get to in terms of lower body fat, higher testosterone. You know what you want, yet you're not doing it. And it begs the question, why aren't you doing it? Because I say this all the time, like, you have all the information in the world. You got, obviously, if you follow me, you have all the information you need. You got ChatGPT, you got YouTube, you got Facebook, you got Instagram. People constantly bombarding you with information. So you don't lack the information. What you lack is the implementation, right? Because we all know what to do. But then what is the difference between two exact same people, both have the exact same knowledge? One has high testosterone, one has low testosterone. What is the difference there? It is action, actually taking action, implementation. And usually that is in the form of accountability. You lack accountability. You have no one there to hold you accountable, to tell you what to do every single day and to remind you what to do every single day. More on that later. But right now, you don't need like TRT or HRT. You just need a bit more discipline. Moving on to point number 3. You're majoring in the minors. Here's where most people mess up. They focus on the seed oils, the food dyes, the plastic water bottles. While meanwhile, they're still 40 pounds overweight. They are not training and are eating like crap. You're solving a $1 problem while ignoring a $100,000 problem. You're stepping over dollars to pick up dimes. And it feels productive, right? Where you make small little changes, you avoid plastic water bottles and you instead drink out of a glass water bottle. Like, this is all good. Like, I'm not saying this is bad. Keep on doing that. But don't expect to see these life-changing results just because you're doing that, right? Like, you're ignoring the big rocks and just picking up the small little pebbles, which feels productive. It feels like you're doing something, but because it's so easy and so marginal, it's not really doing anything for you until you actually fix the basics, right? So fix your body composition, fix your training, fix your sleep, fix your diet. Do this first before you fuss and stress over the small little eeny, tiny things. So here's what actually moves the needle. If you want to naturally increase your testosterone levels, starting today, start here. Point number 1, get lean first. Aim for around 10 to 15% body fat. This is the sweet spot for most people, at least for men. For females, you can add around 5% to that, so around 15 to 25% body fat for females. But for men, 10 to 15. Now, I will say this right now, anything below 10%, depending on you as an individual, you may start to notice, once again, lower testosterone levels. Because I myself, I got to very lean body fat percentages. And I had the same issue where my testosterone actually was very, very low because of that. It wasn't because I was obese. I was like the opposite, where I was like too lean. Where, yeah, naturally speaking, when you're too lean, single digit body fat percentage, I've done 3 bodybuilding shows, right? And that is literally required as a natural, your testosterone levels will kind of go down. So the sweet spot is around 10 to 15%. So focus on that first. The second thing is lift weights. You got to make sure that you're lifting weights. Progressive overload. You don't have to overdo it in the gym, but just 2 to 4 weight training sessions per week. That is all you need to stimulate muscle growth without beating up your body and your recovery. Number 3, eat enough protein and healthy fats. A lot of people love protein. I love protein. I'm a huge proponent of protein. High protein diets are amazing, but you cannot neglect your healthy fats. You need healthy fats in your diet. Cholesterol is a building block for testosterone, literally. So make sure that you incorporate some fatty fish into your diet in the form of salmon or sardines. Have some whole eggs as well. Don't skip out on the yolk. You want the yolk. That's the good stuff. That's where all the nutrients are, the healthy fats are. Eat your avocados too. Eat some nuts. Eat some seeds, some chia seeds, flax seeds. Make sure they're ground up. Eat these types of foods. Olive oil as well. These are all amazing sources of healthy fats to help promote your testosterone levels. Fourthly, this isn't sexy, but focus on sleep. 7 to 9 hours each night. This is a non-negotiable, or at least make it a non-negotiable. And then lastly, move daily. Get in your daily steps, do a bit of cardio, and get some natural sunlight exposure onto your body. Once again, this wasn't sexy what I just listed out, but the basics work. And you got to make sure that you do them consistently, not just for a day, not just for a weekend when you're feeling motivated and inspired after watching this live stream. Like, no, make this part of like your daily, weekly, monthly, yearly ritual. And once it becomes a ritual, once this turns into a habit of doing the basics properly over time, it becomes automatic. You don't have to think twice about going on your sunlight walk. You don't have to think twice about prioritizing your sleep. You don't have to think twice about incorporating healthy fats into your diet, eating enough protein, about training, about all these things, right? So here's a very simple framework. Think of testosterone like a pyramid. I've been using a lot of pyramids in my live streams lately because I think having a visual illustration can help at least get the point across. So at the base of the pyramid, these are the fundamentals that matters the most, right? So calories are king, protein, sleep, and training. These are the base for high testosterone levels. In the middle, so the next up, the next rank up is going to be stress management, sunlight, and recovery. These are important, but not as important as the base. And then at the very, very top, right? The top are going to be supplements, optimization, and biohacks. And a lot of people have this pyramid upside down. They focus first on the supplements, about the biohacks, and then they focus on the sunlight and the other things. And then lastly, they focus on their calorie intake, their protein, their sleep, and their training. If you flip it the other way around, the way I just illustrated, you will be successful, 100%. Now, we touched about the basics, but I do want to touch on the other things that you may be worried about when it comes to your testosterone levels, and that are the endocrine disruptors, aka plastics. Because yes, they do matter, but not as much as the other things that I just listed out. So essentially, what are they? Endocrine disruptors include BPA, like plastics, clothing, packaging, right? Clothing made with like polyester. So I try to get all my clothing because I have already mastered the basics of my diet, my lifestyle, my training, all these things. Now I can actually afford to focus a bit more on like these other lifestyle endocrine disruptors and all these other things, right? So most of my clothing, I don't wear any polyester clothing. All of this is cotton. My shorts are cotton, my socks are cotton, my underwear is cotton. That's really important. Like I, as a teenager, used to wear like polyester, like underwear, and especially having plastics around your genitals, your balls, definitely is not ideal. So this is something that I would worry about later on, but at the start, focus on, again, the big rocks. Once you've dialed in the big rocks and once you've gone down to a healthy body fat percentage, then you can focus on these things. But yeah, clothing, packaging, plastics, and then chemicals in food containers. So eating out of plastics, plastic Tupperware container. All of my Tupperware container now is made out of glass. So these plastics that I just listed out can interfere with hormone signaling. Some studies show that higher BPA exposure is associated with lower testosterone levels. But here's the key. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. These things matter. Once again, like I said, yes, only after, not before, but after you fix the fundamentals. So I want to use an analogy here. It's almost like worrying about the type of fuel you use when your engine is completely broken. And it sounds so silly. I love using analogies like this because it really helps get the point across of how moronic it is to avoid plastics when you're still eating a whole lot more food than you should be. It's not going to do anything, right? So make sure that you fix the engine first and then you optimize the fuel, because the fuel is not going to do anything in a broken engine. Now, here's my final message for you. Most men today don't have low testosterone. What they have is low discipline, low standards for themselves, and low ownership. You don't need a brand new supplement. You just need a brand new identity. You need to tell yourself that I'm a high testosterone person. I'm an individual, I'm a male who has high testosterone. And if you identify yourself as this type of person, you will start to behave and take actions like that type of person. This is the biggest hack that I can give anyone right now. If you tell yourself you're a type of person, if you tell yourself that I eat healthy, I eat clean, I prioritize my sleep, I work out, I exercise, I go on daily walks, I run sometimes, I get sunlight exposure, I eat healthy fats, I eat protein, I just am this high testosterone optimized person. If you tell yourself that, your actions will slowly but surely start to align with that type of person. If you identify yourself as this, your actions will follow. So tell yourself that. I know it could be a bit delusional at the start, and it definitely is, don't get me wrong, because you're still overweight and obese, but hopefully by identifying yourself as this type of person, now you actually take action. You'll take steps towards becoming that version of yourself. Because if you don't, then there's going to be some incongruence there. You're not going to be aligned with your identity. I tell myself this every single morning. I write down on my journal who I am, who I want to become, and it just sets my day up for success. Because now, every single action that I take, if I tell myself I'm a healthy person, guess what I'm going to do throughout the rest of the day? I'm going to be taking actions that a healthy person would do. I'm going to do my workouts regardless of how I feel. I'm going to drink my water. I'm going to get my steps in. I'm going to go on my daily run. I'm going to do my daily workouts. I am going to eat my healthy fats. I am going to eat enough protein. I'm going to prioritize my sleep. And as a result, I am that type of person. Now I am someone with high testosterone, low body fat. Because I've identified myself as that type of person, and now I take actions. My behaviors are now aligned with that type of person. It is very, very powerful. So to wrap this up, if you are a busy guy who's gained 30 to 50 pounds over the past couple of years, you've lost your edge, and you want to rebuild your physique, energy, and your confidence, what you can do is click the link in the description down below, where you can schedule a free consultation call with me down below, where we will go over your current goals to see exactly how much weight you're looking to lose. We'll go over your current struggles to see exactly what's holding you back right now from achieving those goals. And we're going to create a game plan together to help you demolish these goals in the next 3 to 6 months. If that sounds good to you, the link will be in the description down below, and I'll see y'all there. Peace.